what's up, everybody? Welcome to another Tuesday episode of Mega Strange Hotline. How you doing, Johnny?
Anyone out there who wants a free coffee?
You got your Nutter's coffee?
Yeah, just here's a QR code. Get your phone close to the screen and take a little screenshot.
That's our official sponsor, Nutter's Coffee, with their free QR nut code.
Has enough time passed where can we talk about the Nutter's Coffee stickers or no?
No, definitely not enough time has passed.
Okay.
You should have mentioned. We'll have to bleep the utterance of the phrase in the final edit. And if it's not bleeped, then the men in black are going to come for you. Yeah. They're going to be rolling up in their SUVs. In fact, I think we have a call about that today.
Yeah.
On today's episode, we are going to be looking at some hotline voicemails and reviewing some stories out there that our viewers have shared with us, our Mega Strange correspondents out there across America. Yes, you, our loyal viewers, are out there at nighttime when the wilderness calls and the strange things happen. We can't be everywhere all at once, but you can. And when you do see something strange, report it to us on our hotline. The number is in the info below.
Real quick, can I just tell a story?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so I don't think I saw a cryptid, but I want to believe I saw a cryptid.
All right, okay, this is a hell of a way to open up the story.
The other day, I was driving home, and as I was pulling in, I saw just white eyes and something like doing this. Can they see me?
What the fuck?
Did
it do like an orangutan walk?
It was like, it like caught, I saw like white eyes like look at me, and then it just kind of like that into the fucking alleyway. It was small. I assume it's a raccoon, but it straight up was on like hind legs. Like,
oh, well, I think a raccoon a bipedal raccoon qualifies as a cryptid.
Yeah,
as far as I know. You
ever seen videos of raccoons where they like pick stuff with their hands and run away?
Oh, yeah, totally. Didn't that like rat carry a slice of pizza or something? Or?
Yo, Pizza Rat.
Didn't
New
he
York's
walk on two
own
legs?
Pizza Rat. He's a New York staple.
The bipedal raccoon of California, the latest undiscovered cryptid, cited by Johnny.
Yeah, so.
Cryptids, by the way, people always think cryptids are like Bigfoot and Mothman, but it's any animal species that is suspected to exist that is yet unconfirmed by science.
Okay. Like a jackalope?
Like a jackalope, yeah. And I was actually reading an article about like the cryptids out there that have the most evidence for their existence. And there's a bunch of cryptids that people believe probably exist, like Tasmanian tiger or, like the giant squid I always use this example, wasn't spotted in the wild until 2006, but had been like rumored for hundreds of years by sailors.
I love, I've always wanted that giant squid to exist. I'm so happy they found it, because one of my favorite album covers is Apollo 18 by They Might Be Giants. Just is like a drawing of a giant squid on the whale. And I just loved that artwork so much.
It's true. It happened. Confirmed. Yeah. All right. Well, without further ado, I think we should get to our calls today. What do you have for us? Call Master, Chief Call Miser, Jonathan Weiss.
The Call Miser.
The Call Miser.
I'm Mr. Call Miser. Sorry.
This is great. Yeah, that's you. I'm Mr. Call Miser. He's Mr. Dial Tone.
Distracted me.
Hey, this is Lucas from Phoenix. I went to your guys' live show down here, and I made it to a point to show y'all a screenshot of a video I took of when I was driving.
You remember this guy?
Yeah, I do.
San Francisco to Phoenix down the Interstate 5. And, well, the story goes is that I was just driving down in the middle of the night, and I get passed by a fancy black car, think nothing of it. And right after that car, a black SUV Escalade passes straight past, and I'm like, wow, okay. And after that, another identical black SUV Escalade, I think, passes by, and soon enough, like 3 identical black SUVs just passed by me, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is like something out of like a James Bond movie or some shit. So I start recording, and my phone just breaks, and I can't turn it on, and can't even restart it. So I tried to take a video, and all I got was a screenshot that I showed you guys. And yeah, that's my story. Don't text and drive.
All right, and it ends on a good note. Don't text and drive.
Yeah, everyone at home, don't text and drive. He sent me the screenshot so I could put that on screen.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll put that up here and look at that.
I remember talking to this person, and what I recall saying is like, that's a crazy story. Like, I wouldn't think anything of it if his phone didn't brick. That was the part of the story where I kind of like got my attention. Part of me thinks it's some type of, I would assume, a politician or someone important. And also, you know, it makes me assume that like when politicians are going somewhere, they have phone jammers maybe? Is that a type of technology that exists?
I don't know.
I would assume.
Well, yeah, I assume phone jammers do exist.
Yeah.
In fact, I have heard, you know, the conspiracy theory that there is supposedly a button that could turn off every cell phone in America.
Okay.
That the government supposedly, according to the theory, has it on lockdown just in case us Americans got any wild ideas of starting some revolution and overthrowing some tyrannical government, and we thought we were going to organize it on Twitter or Instagram or text messaging each other. Boop, they could just shut down the cell phone services and shut down our communication in an instant.
I think that's 100% real, and I don't think it's the government. My fear has always been these telecommunication companies as they get bigger and take over. Yeah. You know, like if tomorrow Verizon was just like, we're turning off everyone's cell phones, like there's nothing anyone could do. The government couldn't do anything. Like,
oh my God. Wait, no, this is already happening. This is already happening. Yeah. Because just earlier this week, I got an email from Netflix that said they're going to increase the price on March 17th. And what's the government going to do to stop that from happening?
I remember when
they just decided
when net neutrality was got taken down. There was some politician who had this analogy that said like, what we're doing is like, think of Jurassic Park and there's an electric fence and net neutrality is the electric fence. And we just got rid of it. It might take a while for the raptors to realize that the fence isn't there anymore, but eventually they'll cross over.
Wow. All right. Well, let's get back to the black SUVs though.
Anyway, sorry.
So, I mean, clearly to me, it was government, but
yeah.
But the question is, who in the government was it? Was it a governor?
It was Obama.
Was it Obama? Was it the CIA? Was it the QLB?
What's that?
That's like the secret CIA.
Oh, the deep state.
The deep state. The TDS. I'm just making these up. I'm just throwing random letters out there. It was MIB, you know, the Men in Black.
Have you ever?
Actually, by the way, that is the most plausible conspiracy theory.
Men in Black?
Yeah, I mean, we could assume the Men in Black are this government agency that, generally speaking, the American public is not aware of, or they're only vaguely aware of it in rumors and folklore and myths and legends, but nobody actually knows where their headquarters is. They are unidentified when they move around. They have full jurisdiction anywhere they want in the country, and they have access to advanced technology that the other agencies are not authorized to use.
Yeah.
Right? That's the standard accepted concept of the Men in Black.
And then, you know, like there being a movie doesn't really help because like in my head, I just assume the Men in Black is like a fun, like 90s.
You know what I have to say about there being a movie? You know what I have to say about there being a movie?
Right?
Think about this.
What if it was their plan?
No, think about this for real. And I'm going to blow your mind right now, right? You know, they made a movie about 50 years ago that a big group didn't want to get made. And they tried very hard to not have this movie made because they thought it would reveal their secret existence. And this movie was The Godfather.
I was going to say The Godfather.
Yeah, it was. the mafia supposedly tried to stop Francis Ford Coppola from making that movie, right?
Yeah, that's why they have that scene in the movie with the horse, right? I would assume.
There's a lot of it is through the movie. Okay, but let me ask you a question, Johnny and viewers at home. So the movie came out. Because the movie exists, does it make you think the mafia doesn't exist?
No.
No? Do you think that the mafia does exist?
I think it exists, but it not as prevalent as it was back in the day.
But the way it's portrayed in that movie, do you think that that is true?
Yeah, that existed.
Okay, that existed. All right.
I think it still exists, but like I said,
you think it still exists the way it's portrayed in that movie?
Yeah, I don't think it's as prevalent. Technology kind of, I feel like has, because it's so much easier to forensics and stuff are so much better that it would be hard to like fucking whack someone without, people figuring it out.
Well, in that movie, the mafia is in cahoots with politicians in the American government.
That's true.
Do you think that that exists in real life?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's known cases and stuff of like local politicians being kind of mob guys.
So therefore, we can draw the conclusion that the American government is up to some secret shit that is off the books. And sometimes it is even depicted in our movies.
Yeah.
And even though it's depicted in our movies, that doesn't mean it doesn't actually happen.
This reminds me, there's a meme that like is kind of going around. It's not new or anything, but the concept of like someone will be like talking about their personal FBI agent, like an FBI agent that like has to sit there and go like watch like through their phone or on their computer. Like people will be like, my FBI agent seeing me Google boobs at 3 a.m. Like I feel like that's real. I think that's, I mean, I could go into it, but
I had a history teacher. I had a history teacher in high school. I can't remember his name. Sorry. I'm trying to so badly because I really like this guy. But he told the whole class, he's like, yeah, here's a story. When I was in college, I was like a political science major, and I joined a bunch of like activist group within my local college in the 70s. And he said, at one point, literally the CIA came to my dorm and knocked on my door and like, or it may have been the FBI, but a government agency. And they're like, we need to interview you. And they took him out of his dorm and they took him to like a small office on his school. And they basically laid down a manila envelope and there were photographs in there of him. And they're like, we just want to let you know you've been photographed at these meetings. Jeez. You've been seen with these certain people. We're watching these people and blah, blah, blah. They showed him this file that they had. This is my high school teacher, history teacher.
Yeah.
And basically his message to the class was, because this was probably like 2002, he was like, this is what they were doing in the 70s before the internet, before like mass surveillance was a thing. So just be, you can't even imagine what they would be doing today. And that was 20 years ago from right now. So
yeah, that's why that dude wrote The Crucible, right? Because he was put on a list during the Red Scare.
Oh, Arthur Miller?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could talk about, well, we probably won't talk about it because it'd just be a history podcast. Yeah. But yeah, probably. All right. Thanks for the call, Luke. Interesting. Who knows who was in those Escalades?
Yeah, I wonder. The Escalade is still, it's always funny to me that is still like a big car for like famous and politicians. I remember in the early 2000s when that was like,
yeah, Morpheus drove
the cool car was the Escalade.
Yeah, when it was brand new.
Do you want to do another call, or do you think that's a good?
Let's do one more.
Okay,
let's do one more.
Hey, Mega Strange. My name's Ethan. I live in Florida. Easter 2020, I was at my uncle's house with my family, and
2 years ago, April.
We walked outside, me and my cousin, and we looked at his neighbor's house. And I said they were flying kites because they looked like kites over their house. After I pointed them out, they started floating towards my uncle's house over this empty field between the houses.
The kites were
as they got closer,
flying towards them over the field.
You could start to see like a bubble around them.
Ooh, force field around
when
the
clouds
kites.
would pass behind them, it would try to like blend them into the sky and whatnot.
Camouflage bubble.
It tried to disappear into the sky like 2 or 3 times. And on the last time, it completely changed its appearance. It looked like just a regular white kite at first. Then after that, it was like an upside down field goal post, like a 2-prong fork.
Wow.
It got to about the fence line, and then it followed the fence line behind the trees and disappeared. And that's my story. Thanks, guys.
Wow.
Sorry. No, thank you for calling in. For some reason, I just imagine. Let me take my phone out do some prop comedy here.
Why?
I imagine this guy telling that story like this, like he's calling and his eyes are closed. I don't know why. Like he's just
God, ribbing the dude.
No. I didn't think it was bad. I just could feel like
I want to know if anybody else out there can confirm this sighting. Florida, Easter 2020. Did you see, what did you say, 3 unidentified flying objects?
In a bubble?
They looked like kites. I can assume that means they were white diamond shape. Flying over a field, 3 of them, I think he mentioned, and then they turned into upside down field goal posts or like divining rods, 2 prongs on one end, 1 prong on the other before disappearing over the tree line or into the sky. Did anybody else out there see anything like that? Interesting. Yeah. Interesting story. I've been hearing a lot about UFOs that seem to be shape-shifting, you know? We always talked about flying saucers and cigar shapes, but now lately it just seems like it's impossible to describe the shape of these things. We even saw a video last week, Aliens in the Hood, where it was like lights in the sky that would multiply and combine, and sometimes they would be symmetrical and holding a formation, and other times they seem to be completely random, all over the course of like a 45-second video.
People had theories on what that was, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I saw somebody say that they thought it was skydivers.
Yeah, and they shot flares out or something.
Yeah, but then somebody else said, would the skydivers like combine and then like uncombine in formation like that?
I mean, sometimes skydivers do stupid shit like that, like they'll hold hands. And
yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. What were some other theories?
That's the big one I saw.
Skydivers.
I also saw someone have a theory on that bird video as well. You want to hear that?
Is it common for skydivers to skydive at night? I'm not sure about that.
That is the thing that is weird, but you never know. Maybe it was like twilight, like maybe it was like the sun had just gone down or something.
Perhaps. So the bird theory.
Yeah, I saw a comment saying like they have a friend who studies birds.
Yeah.
And they asked them their theory on what this thing would be. And this person's theory was the birds all fly in a pack. And they assume maybe the leader saw some type of
predatory.
Yeah, predator or something, and then like dove down to kind of get away from the predator. But then all the other birds behind it started diving down to follow, and they kind of like couldn't. The main bird couldn't kind of get back up because all these birds are going down, and they assumed that it would just like all
just hit the ground.
They all just fell to the ground like in some type of crazy accident.
Yeah, I did read a theory that said the same thing. Essentially, this pack of birds may have been attacked by another pack of predatory birds, but the leading theory is scientists don't have a leading theory.
I still think
they don't know what the F it was.
Wi-Fi or
could have been Wi-Fi. All right. Well, I think that's our mailbag episode for this week. Yeah. Thanks to our callers for sharing our story. If you've seen something out there, please call us up and leave your story with us. Keep it quick and short, and we are likely to feature it on this show. We're going to have a new episode this Saturday and every Saturday of the Mega Strange Podcast, so don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Mega Strange Podcast, and we will see you next time with more stories. Oh, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, if you ever want to like send physical stuff, feel free to send it to the Mega 64 P.O. Box. Just address it to us, and we'll know what to do from there.
We'll put the P.O. box in the info of this video below. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.
See you.